What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and another video. Today I wanted to go over the pros and cons of owning a Jeep Wrangler. I've had this JKU for about 2 years now. Before that I had a two-door JK for about 2 years, and before that I had a TJ, 06 TJ for about 2 years as well. So long time in the Jeep game. Wanted to go over some pros and cons of this platform, why it may be a big mistake, but also why it may be the best decision you've ever made. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys, why you maybe should buy a Jeep Wrangler. Alright guys, so jumping right into the pros of owning a Jeep Wrangler. The first one I'm going to list here is going to be the open air experience. It makes driving so much more enjoyable. You know, you don't have to be constantly doing something. You can just take the top off, go cruising, and that's really all it takes to really enjoy your vehicle. And that's part of the appeal of a Jeep, you know, being able to just pop the top back, take the top off, and really enjoy that open air experience. And let me tell you, it is amazing. It is one of the best features on a Jeep, and I truly believe that if you've tried it, you will fall in love with it. It is truly something that is just there's nothing like it, no experience like it when you're driving a vehicle. So that's definitely a pro there, is the open air experience. And you might think now like, oh, that doesn't really matter or whatever, but truthfully, the second you try it, you're going to love it. And it makes off-roading that much more enjoyable because you're really one with the elements, and you can really like feel the air, the experience, just all of it. It also makes wheeling a little bit easier, being able to take the top and the doors off. So being able to see where your tire placement is and all of that is also a huge advantage. So the open air experience is definitely a big plus here. And what's nice about that open air experience is you don't have to have a hard top, you don't have to have a soft top. Either one of them is going to give you that open air experience. It's such a big advantage to be able to have both of those, you know, the best of both worlds with hard top or soft top. You know, with the hard top you have the freedom panels and you get to take the whole top off if you wanted to. But you also have the soft top, which is a little bit easier to get things on and off of, a little bit easier to take the top on and off of as well. But you really get the best of both worlds. No matter what top you have, you can enjoy that open air experience. So definitely a really nice thing about a Jeep Wrangler, and something I think you guys will really like if you buy one, of course. Alright guys, and another pro here is going to be the endless possibilities that you have with a Jeep. So there is endless aftermarket support, different options, different price levels to make your Jeep unique to you. So if you like modifying your vehicles, the Jeep Wrangler is literally the perfect vehicle for you, because you can do basically every single piece on this Jeep. You can modify and upgrade to exactly what you like. So that is such a big advantage with all the aftermarket support, all the different price ranges, brands. It just makes it to where you can really make the Jeep unique to you and what you want your vehicle to be. If you want it to ride nice on the road, perfect. There are modifications for that. You want it to be the ultimate wheeler, perfect. You can definitely do that as well. There is just endless possibilities with a Jeep Wrangler, and that's a big advantage. And there are not a lot of platforms that you can take that platform and really make it unique to you, especially with all the aftermarket support. So if you, like I said, if you like modifying your vehicles, you enjoy doing different stuff to your vehicles and making it unique to you, the Jeep Wrangler is absolutely perfect. There are endless possibilities to make this exactly what you want it to be. Even if you don't like the look of a Wrangler, you can basically change the look with the top, with body armor, with different wraps, paint, wheels, tires, everything. You can really go all in on a Jeep Wrangler. So definitely a big advantage, but not for everyone. So this is a pro for some, but it might be a negative for others. All right guys, and another pro here is going to be reliability. And not everyone's going to agree with me on this. There are areas of the Wrangler that weren't as reliable, but I'll tell you, with this 3.6 and this JKU, I have had zero issues, knock on wood, but zero issues with reliability on this vehicle. I have, like I said, taken it wheeling a bunch. I beat the crap out of it. I've modified almost every piece on this vehicle, and still it starts up every time, zero issues. And it runs great. I've never had an issue. Of course, there is the 3.6 tick that you can get, but the real years that you want to avoid, and again, this isn't going to be for everyone. Some of these engines and these years were not bad, but all in all, you want to avoid the 07 to 11 JKUs with the 3.8, and let me explain why. And again, guys, not everyone has the same experience. Some people with the 3.8 might love it, might not have any issues, but for the far majority that I've read, on forums and other people that I've been wheeling with, the problems with the 3.8 are, one, it's underpowered, very underpowered. Then you also have that it burns oil like crazy. I've heard people that have had to put 2 quarts in per oil change, like between those 5,000 miles, 2 whole quarts. Now with this 3.6, I have never had to add oil to it. I've never burned oil in this thing, and an engine should not burn oil. It's definitely not something that's normal. I mean, maybe if you get to 180 to 200k miles, you might have a little bit of that just because the engine's being worn down, but this burning oil problem was on years from 07 to 11, and it didn't really matter the miles. So definitely something to consider. I would highly recommend going 2012 or up when it comes to the JK or JKU, because you can get that 3.6, which has much more power and is more reliable. But like I said, guys, with my 3.6 in here, I've had 0 issues. I've been very happy with this engine. I would buy this engine again. I really would. If this 3.6 gave out, I'd probably buy another 3.6. Just because I've had no issues with it. I've really enjoyed driving it. I feel like it has plenty of power with the gearing that I have on here. So I have no problems with that motor. And again, when it comes to any engine, if you take care of it, it'll more than likely take care of you. So definitely do your maintenance. Do not skimp. Do not go past the oil change requirements. You want to make sure you stay on top of it. And another pro here, and some people won't care about this, but it is something that I really like, and that's the community that you get with owning a Wrangler. So everyone helps each other out. Everyone is talking about advice, about builds. They're giving advice. They're helping new wheelers. They're helping new Jeepers. And that's something that a lot of the car communities do not have. So that's a big advantage to owning a Jeep, having that community, having all the forums out there on the internet that you can follow to make sure that if you're building your Jeep, you're picking the right parts, you're getting firsthand experience with people that are using these parts. And that's something, like I said, a lot of car communities do not have. So when it comes to the Jeep community, definitely a big advantage because everyone's willing to help each other out and give advice. All right, guys, and the next pro here is going to be the biggest thing to owning a Jeep, and that is the wheeling and the off-roading that you get to do in this vehicle. There's nothing like off-roading in a Jeep. It is just amazing that from the factory it can wheel the way that it does. But believe it or not, when I first got my Jeep, I didn't really care too much about wheeling. I knew it was something I'd probably do eventually, but I never thought I'd be rock crawling or anything like that. I just really liked the look of the Jeep. I really liked how unique you could make the Jeep, all the modifications you could do, because I love working on vehicles. So that was the main reason I bought it. But what I will tell you is now that I've gotten into wheeling, I've been about 3 years now that I've been into wheeling, it is a large reason why I own this Jeep and why I modify it. So definitely if you start wheeling, get ready, because you're going to be spending tons of money, because it's a drug. It really is. You modify one thing, you go off-roading, you see another improvement you want to make, you modify that. It's just one thing after another when it comes to that. But if you really love wheeling, you really love improving, progressing, there's no better feeling than conquering a new obstacle or going off-road and enjoying some sunshine with the top off-road. There's just nothing like it, guys. There really isn't. So if you haven't gotten out there and used your Jeep yet, I would highly recommend you do it, because you will fall more in love with the Jeep than you did before. And a side note here, you don't have to have some jacked up huge Jeep to go off-roading or some hugely built Jeep to go off-roading. You can take your stock Jeep out and do a lot of things and have a lot of fun with it. So if you haven't started already, I would recommend you get out there and use your Jeep, because it's more capable than you think it is. Alright guys, and for the cons here, and there's really not many. I truly really enjoy this vehicle, and I'm sure you will as well, but one of the downsides or cons to owning a Jeep Wrangler is the fact there's not a ton of luxury. Not a ton of creature comforts, and that's because it's an off-road vehicle. That's really the intent of a Jeep, and they are trying to make it more road friendly and things like that, and it really is great on the road. But as far as creature comfort goes, you're probably going to be dumping a little bit of money as far as that goes. Now, of course, you can order, if you have like a JL, you can order from the factory the luxury package, but that's a lot of extra money. Or you could just invest in an aftermarket solution, like a really nice touchscreen radio, new seats, things like that, and really that makes a huge difference. I mean, for under $1,000 you can really do a lot to the interior of this thing to make it more daily driver friendly. So again, you're gonna have to put some money into the creature comfort luxury side of things if you want it to be that way, but it is a little bit of a con because you have to put extra money into something you've already bought. So definitely something to consider when you're looking at buying a Wrangler. And truthfully, guys, I mean, it's really not bad in here. I mean, it's just some people aren't going to like the interior of a Jeep, and then it is what it is. But as you can see here, I mean, you can add a touchscreen radio, which has Apple CarPlay. It was under $400 for that. And then a little phone mount makes it a lot easier to mount your phone. That was under $100. I mean, really, you can do a lot with a little when it comes to the interior of a Jeep. But really, it's really not as bad as you would think. And you can see here, it's not a bad layout. I actually really enjoy the setup of this Jeep, but some people might not like it. All right, guys, so the next one here is going to be the cost. You know, you've heard the saying, Jeep, just empty every pocket. And let me tell you, it's true to an extent. What I will tell you is I have not spent a penny on fixing regular routine things on this Jeep. I have not had that problem. Like I said, I do the routine oil changes, I do the diff fluid changes, trans fluid, the differential, or not differential, I just said that, transfer case, all that. You know, you do the fluids, but that's something you do on every 4x4. I have not had to fix anything in 2 years on this Jeep, you know, and I'm sure I'll have to here soon. And whenever, you know, you have a starter go out every now and then, an alternator, something like that. But every penny I've spent has been mainly on modifying this Jeep. So besides routine maintenance, everything I've replaced on this Jeep has been a modification. So that's something you have to think about. You know, like I said, when you're modifying your Jeep, it's almost like a drug. You're going to want to keep spending and spending and spending. And I fell into that trap, but it is something also that if you really enjoy working on your vehicle and you enjoy, you know, progressing in this sport, you're going to really enjoy that part of it like I do. But it could be a con for some others. You know, maybe you're spending tons of money, you don't want to be spending tons of money, you don't really care that much about it. And Jeeps can be expensive when it comes to modifying as well as fixing things if you buy an older Wrangler. So the cost can be high. Jeep aftermarket parts are expensive. So the cost is definitely a downside here for some. And again, I've said this before, if you want your Jeep to ride nice, you want to have high quality parts, you're going to spend a premium, just the way it is. I mean, and there's always that saying, buy once, cry once. And I did not do that at first. I bought cheap parts, I didn't like the way the Jeep rode, I didn't like the way it performed, and guess what? As soon as I started putting high quality parts on this Jeep, performed great, I don't break things when I go out, and it rides so nice. Having the adjustability of those Falcon shocks for on-road and off-road manners is just fantastic. So again, buy once, cry once. You will not regret it when it comes to Jeeps. All right, guys, and the last con or downside I have is the road manners of a Jeep. It does drive much different than most vehicles on the road. So when you first drive a Jeep, it does take some getting used to. It's definitely something that is different, and you know, from the factory, it does ride okay. I don't mind it from the factory. Now, if you start putting cheaper stuff on there, it's going to dive more in the corners. It might feel a little bit worse on the road. But again, if you're using high quality parts on your Jeep and you're modifying it to your needs, you know, like buying stiff shocks if you like a stiff ride, or soft shocks if you like a soft ride, things like that. If you're buying the high quality parts, it might even ride better from the factory, you know, and that's a prime example of my Jeep here. I've put a lot of time into researching the parts and feeling what I like on the Jeep. And I'll tell you what, it rides better than factory in my opinion, on-road and off-road. I've been very happy with it, and the Falcon shocks play a big role in that, having the adjustability on and off-road. So if you aren't sure you like the ride of a Jeep, adjustable shocks may be a good idea for you to really hone in that ride and get it to ride the way you want it to. But definitely something you want to consider when you're looking at Wranglers and test driving Wranglers. And while you do get used to the feel of driving a Jeep, like now I don't even feel like it drives any different than any other vehicle, but while you do get used to it, some people are not going to like the ride, and that's just, it is what it is. If you don't like it, maybe this Jeep isn't for you, but it is going to be a downside for some. And this would not be a Jeep video if we did not talk about miles per gallon. That is a downside when it comes to a Jeep, or really any 4x4. I mean, all in all, from the factory, it's really not too bad. I think you get just under 20 in the city stock, which really is not terrible for a 4x4. But when you own a Jeep, you're going to want to modify it. And now that I'm on 37s, 4.5-inch lift, 456 gears, I get about 14 miles per gallon on average. So definitely something you're going to want to think about. If you plan on keeping it stock, really not terrible. It's lower than most vehicles, but really not terrible. But when it comes to a Jeep, what really matters is the miles per gallon, and that's what you have to remember when you're looking at buying a Jeep. Miles per gallon is something that's really not going to be great on this vehicle. No matter what you do, there's not a whole lot you can do to change the miles per gallon. So it's something you're going to have to deal with, going to have to get used to, and that's part of owning a Jeep. So again, miles per gallon. All right, and to break it down for you guys, should you buy a Wrangler? I'm going to say 120% yes. You should buy a Wrangler. It is a great vehicle. It is an endless platform. You can do whatever you want to, and you can enjoy it in multiple ways. You can go off-roading. You could take the top off and cruise down the road to the grocery. Like, you can do anything with this platform and really enjoy it. And that's a big upside. Now, again, it is going to cost a pretty penny. You're going to put some money into it, whether it be modifying or, maintenance down the road once you get some miles on it. But again, it's worth every penny, and I promise you, if you like modifying your vehicle, you like having a unique vehicle, you will fall in love with the Wrangler. I almost guarantee it. And in 2 years of ownership of this JKU specifically, I have absolutely no complaints. I have been so happy with this platform, the JK and JKU. Like I said, there is some years you want to avoid, but I've been extremely happy with this platform. I liked my TJ, but it's nice having those small creature comforts in the JK and the JLs. So definitely something you want to consider when you're buying a Wrangler. But again, I would recommend this platform to anyone. It is a great vehicle. All right, guys, and that is going to do it for today's video. If you have any questions, drop them down below. Like I said, I've owned Jeeps for 7 years, 8 years now, and I have a little bit of experience when it comes to the Jeep world. I'm not an expert by any means, but I have some experience. I've replaced a lot of things on the Jeep, modified a lot of things on the Jeep, gone through multiple phases. So if you have any questions about owning a Wrangler, drop them down below, guys. I'd be glad to answer them for you. But please like and subscribe for more Jeep and off-road content, guys. We got a lot more coming your way, and thank you for watching.